Hey there. My name is Armando Dialis, and I am part of Fred Kemp's online technical writing class. One of the requirements of this semester is to do a video presentation of some sorts. And we were given some inspiration in regards to what we should do, and one of the topics is like something we enjoy or something that we can over explain about. When I grow up, or when I get my master's degree and everything, I would love to be a theater historian. I am a big theater buff. As you can see, I have Cursed Child, Angels in America, Glow, more Cursed Child. Um, so basically, I have about seven playbill binders filled with playbills because I go to New York several times a year, twice. Also go to London every couple of years. And in one of my other classes, we were talking about 12th Night and what role does masculinity play. And I'm talking about that in another class. And I realized today how many times I'd seen the production, and I've seen it professionally 3 times and stage managed it once. I saw it at Dallas Theater Center, the Houston's Alley Theater, as well as Shakespeare's Globe when it came to New York City with Mark Rylance as Olivia, which was really, really great because it was an all-male production. You'll hear me reference this production later in the video because I like to repeat myself, and I also filmed that part first. Basically my topic is how does masculinity become a character within Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, and what role does it play? For me personally, I believe that Olivia plays a male or her brother Sebastian, but disguised as Cesario, because when she lands on the island of Illyria, she doesn't know where she is, what her social climate is, and everything else like that. So that's the reason why I believe she does that. And the next thing you're going to see is a scene from Shakespeare's Globe, the Shakespeare's Globe production that I referenced, and you hear me, and again, you hear me talk about it again. And basically, what my argument is, so the reasons why masculinity plays a role, and at the end, you'll see references to like other authors that also postulate similar ideas. And so, hope you enjoy.
We're not, we're not you even now with the Countess Olivia.
Even now, sir, on a moderate pace, I have since arrived but hither.
Ah. Well, she returns this ring to you, sir.
Huh?
You might have saved me my pains to have taken it away yourself. She adds, moreover, that you are to put your lord into a desperate assurance she'll none of him. And one thing more, that you be never so hardy as to come again in his affairs, unless it be to report his taking of this. Receive it so.
She took the ring of me, I'll none of it.
Come, sir. You peevishly threw it to her, and her will is it be so returned. If it be worth stooping for, there it lies in your eye. If not, be it his that finds it.
The love token that Malvolio is giving Cesario is not necessarily one from him to her, it is more specifically one from Olivia to Cesario. The scene they just played is from the 2014 Shakespeare's Globe production of Twelfth Night. It was all male, and it was reminiscent of what a production would have looked like back in Shakespeare's time. Even further, it starred Mark Rylance as Olivia. I was very lucky because I was able to see this production in New York City when it crossed the pond. Like I said, here we see Malvolio giving a ring to Viola. Olivia asks Malvolio to deliver this ring to return to Orsino, but in reality, she is using it to get Cesario to come back to see Olivia because she has fallen smitten over Cesario. Clearly, Olivia has not fallen for Duke Orsino, but instead for Cesario. Cesario's disguise of manliness, so Viola disguising as a man, has made an impression on Olivia, but not on Malvolio. So the scene that just showed was Act 2, Scene 2, and the scene previously is when Viola and Olivia meet. However, Malvolio, when introducing Cesario, introduces Cesario's faults. So the fact that he looks female, womanly, and puts Cesario down for having those characteristics. Olivia, on the other hand, finds these characteristics attractive, or more specifically, she falls in love with Cesario's bravado and masculinity. There are a ton of authors, critics, people out there who have done a lot of work on the play, and they say that some people say that Viola gender bending is a sign that both Duke Orsino, who falls in love with Cesario, more specifically Viola, and then Olivia falling in love with Cesario, is allowing both Orsino and Olivia to go through a puberty-like discovering of themselves. And it's safe to do that with Cesario/Viola. And because she gender bends, and because of her either masculinity or her lack thereof, both characters are able to play around with someone of the same sex. So this is very, very, very perplexing. And that's why I argue that masculinity is also a character within the story, because it plays a major role. So, for example, Sir Aegacheek, he is described as the height of masculinity. However, in many productions, he is seen as someone very small and very not brave and cowardly and not a good person. On the other hand, though, Sebastian, especially in the first scene when Viola and the captain of the sunken ship, when they're describing her brother, they're describing his heroics and his apparent masculinity. Another thing that you could say that would make masculinity another character in this show is how how do I put this? There is a constant overshadowing of it. So, for example, Antonio is in love with Sebastian, who we find out is living. So, Antonio is Sebastian's servant. It depends on how it's played, especially in modern productions. They seem like they're friends more than servants, but the nouns that they use tend to show off the fact that they're master and servant. Well, Antonio constantly describes his love for Sebastian. How I love thee, how he dotes on thee. And Sebastian makes fun of Antonio for it, calling him effeminate. And so this is like another example of how masculinity plays a role and how it kind of ties up all the loose ends at the end of the story, like at the final act. It's very disturbing in some senses when Orsino says, "Come here, boy," basically, to Viola when she reveals herself as a woman, or the fact that Antonio is so hurt, I guess you could say, by Sebastian's inaction to save him from the police. And also the fact that Malvolio is embarrassed because he professed his love and does something womanly to Olivia, and in doing so, his pride, his masculinity is hurt, and so we don't see him for the rest of the play after he is let out of his dungeon cell. That's the reason why I say that masculinity plays that major role, because it always shows, not that it shows, but all the characters seem to want a masculine figure in their lives or hold masculine truths to themselves. And if it wasn't for masculinity or the concept of masculinity, then Twelfth Night wouldn't be the comedy or a play or a good story in general. So that's my take on the reasons why masculinity is a character within Twelfth Night. Thank you, and bye-bye.